You're not as original as you think. Think about your personality, your weirdest habits, even your taste in music. Were those written into your DNA before you were born? Or were they shaped, slowly, by your childhood, your culture, and the people around you? Psychologists have been arguing about this for over a century. Are we born this way, or are we made? And here's why this matters to you right now. If biology is in the driver's seat, how much can you actually change about yourself? But if experience is everything, then why do two siblings raised in the same house turn out completely different? Welcome to Psych 101. I'm Desiree, your instructor for this series. And by the end of this lesson, you're going to see yourself and everyone around you a little differently. Let's get into it. Think about depression. If it's purely biological, we treat it one way. If it's largely shaped by trauma and learning, we intervene differently. If intelligence is entirely inherited, our education system looks very different than if it's heavily shaped by opportunity and environment. This question shapes how we parent, how we design schools, how we treat criminals, and how we view our own potential. Let's simplify it. Nature is the biological side, your genes, your DNA, your brain structure, your hormones. It's the factory settings you inherited. Nurture is everything environmental: parenting, education, culture, friend groups, trauma, opportunity. For a long time, people treated this like a boxing match. Nature in one corner, nurture in the other. But here's the twist, and this is the most important thing you'll hear today. Modern psychology doesn't see this as either or anymore. It's not nature versus nurture. It's nature interacting with nurture. And to understand that interaction, we need to zoom in on what nature actually means. When we talk about nature, we're talking about your biological blueprint. Every cell in your body contains genetic instructions that guide how your brain develops. But there are two key terms you need to know: genotype and phenotype. Your genotype is the raw DNA code you inherited. Your phenotype is what we actually observe: your height, eye color, certain personality tendencies. Here's the secret formula. Phenotype equals genotype plus environment. Your traits aren't just your genes. They're your genes expressed in a particular environment. So how do we actually test whether genes influence behavior? We can't just open up your DNA and check for extroversion. Instead, psychologists use one of the most powerful tools in behavioral science: twin studies. Identical twins share 100% of their genes. Fraternal twins share about 50%. If identical twins are more similar on a trait, like intelligence, depression, or risk-taking, than fraternal twins are, that suggests genetic influence. This is how we estimate heritability. But here's where people get confused. Heritability does not mean how genetic you are. It measures how much variation between people in a group is due to genetic differences. It's about populations, not individuals. Think of it this way. Genes give you probabilities, not guarantees. Tendencies, not destiny. Biology matters, but it isn't fate. And that raises a deeper question. Why do we have these genes in the first place? To answer that, we go back to Darwin. He introduced natural selection. Traits that helped our ancestors survive were more likely to be passed on. But he also described sexual selection, traits that helped someone attract a mate, even if they didn't directly help survival. Think about jealousy, fear, our drive to belong. These might not just be personality quirks. They may be ancient survival mechanisms. That's the foundation of evolutionary psychology. It asks, why did this behavior evolve? But evolution gives us predispositions, not finished personalities. That's where nurture steps back in. If nature is the blueprint, nurture is what happens once construction begins. From the second you're born, your environment starts shaping you. Family, school, culture, peers. Take language. Every human brain is biologically prepared to learn language. That's nature. But which language you speak? That's nurture. Psychologists also look at learning. If a behavior is rewarded, you're more likely to repeat it. If you grow up watching your parents handle stress a certain way, chances are you'll pick that up too. That's nurture in action. And over time, those experiences start to shape you. The way you attach to people, how your body responds to stress, even how confident you feel walking into a room. Experiences don't just pass through you, they accumulate, they leave patterns. And that's where this gets really interesting, because biology doesn't just sit there quietly in the background, it responds. And that's where epigenetics enters the picture. Epigenetics is the study of how your environment can actually change how your genes are expressed. Notice I said expressed, not changed. Your DNA code stays the same, but your experiences, like stress, trauma, nutrition, even relationships, can flip the switches on certain genes. Think of your DNA as a script. Epigenetics is the director. The script doesn't change, but the performance can look completely different depending on how it's directed. So it's not nature versus nurture anymore. It's nature responding to nurture. And when those two forces meet, we call that gene-environment interaction. That's where things get really interesting. Two kids can face the exact same stressor. One develops anxiety, the other doesn't. Why? Because their biology responded differently to the same environment. The same environment can produce different outcomes because of different genes. And the same genes can produce different outcomes in different environments. It's not a battle, it's a dance. And that dance doesn't stop in childhood. It continues your entire life because of one powerful concept: plasticity. Plasticity is your brain's ability to change based on experience. Your brain isn't a piece of hardware that's permanently locked in at birth. It's more like, well, plastic, moldable, adaptive. Plasticity is strongest when you're a child, but it never fully disappears. Which means this: biology gives you the structure, life shapes the wiring. You're not trapped by your genes, but you're not infinitely changeable either. There are constraints, there are boundaries, and modern psychology doesn't ignore either side. It embraces the balance. Before we wrap up, let's clear up 3 big myths that people still get wrong. Myth number 1, genes are fate. Nope. If that were true, therapy would be pointless. Education wouldn't matter. Effort wouldn't matter. Genes influence you. They don't dictate you. Myth number 2, environment can change anything. Also nope. You can't nurture yourself into being 7 feet tall. Biology sets the outer boundaries. Experience works within them. And myth number 3, the debate is over. Actually, it's just getting started. We understand more than we ever have before, but we're still uncovering how and why these interactions happen every single day. And that's what makes psychology such a living science. Now let's see if you can spot these ideas in action. It's time for the Brain Busters quiz. All right, question 1. Which of the following is an example of nature? A, parenting style. B, cultural norms. C, brain structure. And the correct answer is C, brain structure. Question 2. Genes determine behavior in fixed and unchangeable ways. True or false? The correct answer is B, false. Genes influence behavior. And finally, question 3. Environmental experiences can influence how genes are expressed. True or false? The correct answer is A, true. Your DNA code stays the same. Great job! Now let's quickly recap the lesson. Nature is your biology. Nurture is your environment. Your genes don't operate in isolation. They respond. And that means you are not a finished product. You're a work in progress, shaped by both your biology and your experiences. Now it's time for the homework-free zone. No grades, no pressure, just awareness. This week, notice one trait or behavior in yourself. Maybe it's how you react under stress. Maybe it's how organized you are. Maybe it's how quickly you trust people. And just pause and ask, is this more biology, more environment, or some interaction between the two? You don't have to post it, just observe. If you have questions about this lesson, or if there's something you want me to break down further, drop it in the comments. Next time in Psych 101, we're zooming in even closer. In Lesson 5, we're taking a tour of the brain itself. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you in the next lesson.